So I would like to welcome you for my second part of the session, and I'll be picking up the place where I stopped in the earlier session. So second group of factors affecting student attention are related to the student. The most important two factors are maintaining eye contact and assigning students to work in pairs or groups. And it is noticed that although these two factors have been highlighted to relate to the student, the data shows very significant influence for the teacher. Other student-related factors are not are found not to be evident in the context of this study. We'll stop. Now I'll move to the third theme. The third group of factors affecting student attention relate to the context. Of course, I'm writing this according to what I've already mentioned in my discussion, this section. So you see the title here, context-related factors. Again, I'll have to read this, review this section in order to find what I want to say. And so the first rule was classroom noise. So the room was quiet, there's not much noise. Students were active. There was no. The second sub-theme was classroom windows. So there was no window in this room. And I was wondering about the reason for that. The third theme was posts used in the classroom. It was observed that 4 posts were on the wall. And the teacher is using this to empower also attention and using them as also material, supporting material, if I recall. Blah, blah, blah. The teacher believed that it was a problem. The posts are some. Okay, the fourth sub-theme was material use, and it was discussed with the first theme. During the session, I observed the teacher used basic material. We also talked about this. The fifth was content taught, and it should be mentioned that it should hear that all sessions of level Spanish, it had been assumed that different content subjective investigated first she added that even when with different content, she spends different level of attention. So maybe I can write something about here, the content affect levels of attention. Moving to the sixth sub-theme, it was disturbance or none of the sessions observed were disturbed. The sub-theme could relate to the seventh sub-theme was time of the day. Yes, teacher agreed on this as I recall. Time of the day. All class observe similar size, so size also was not an issue. All right, so I came up with two ideas that I want to take into my conclusion below. Content affects level of attention, and the other one, time of the day. So I'm gonna write here context. The content, the content material used for a session is found to impact on students' level of attention as more relevant and in interesting topics to students. The more attention level could be achieved. Another issue relating to context was is the time of the day a session is performed. This is so as students tend to be less active and more tired towards the afternoon sessions. Okay, so here I'm done with the summarizing. Maybe now I can say a statement or two, opinion about what I found. From these findings, it is understood that the role of the teacher is the most important in relation to maintaining students' attention in the class. You know what? Maybe I'll take this to the second paragraph. So in the second paragraph, I'll be talking about, as I recall, I'll be talking about recommendations. Like I want to see now what kind of recommendations the study offer. This study, or based on the empirical study and the findings, the study provides a number of recommendations that could improve students' attention in the context or other relevant contexts. From these findings, or from the findings above, it is understood that the role of the teacher is the most important in maintaining students' attention in the classroom. This suggests that educational systems are advised to invest in developing teachers' abilities in maintaining students' attention. An example of these others is providing training, relevant training to teachers. The training could make use of the findings from this study. And it should. You see now I can I can change the tone of writing. I can say should, since I'm providing recommendations now. So it means like I have more authority over what I'm writing. I'm suggesting in the paper now. So the training could make use of these of the findings from the study, and it should include techniques about using attention, using, for example, pair work activities, or material development. The study also recommends educational institutions to invest in developing policies to support teachers maintain students' attention. An example on this is not allowing students to use personal communication devices, e.g. mobile phones. Maybe I can say on campus, e.g. mobile phone. Of course, guys, I can go up, look at the findings, and provide whatever kind of recommendations I can. Of course, based on what I found here. The list can go on, but I'll stop here with the recommendations. Or maybe I can write a couple of more ideas. A pre-assumption about the importance of some factors is found to be irrelevant to this particular study. This has been supported by by cultural rules. An example on this point is is I'm trying to remember actually one of the points was students come late to class. Of course, in some cultures this is accepted, in other cultures this is not accepted. And you need to remember that we're writing here a study, it's like cross-cultural. It's like it's conducted in the US, but supposedly the person is not an American, he's a person doing a postgraduate study in the US and planning to take some results back to his or her home country. An example on this is time or time perception. Okay, so I'll stop with the findings here. Of course, as I said earlier, we can add more ideas. Now I want to move to the following point, which is about limitations, challenges on maybe with the way forward as well. So let me start with the limitations. A number of, the study is limited in its ability to generalize its findings. The study is limited in its ability to generalize its finding for a number of factors. First of all, the study takes a very limited number of participants as a sample. This is so due to resources limitations. Resources, this is due to limited resources assigned for this study. So first of all is the sample is small. Another very important limitation. You know, with the limitation, what I mean is like, I'm not claiming to be this study is to be a perfect study. So of course it's limited. It has its own problems. So you want to highlight them, say them, and say that you're aware of these, but you couldn't really avoid this for, and maybe you can mention the reason. Another very important limitation is the participant group. This study takes into consideration the views of the teachers another, and it ignores views from other major stakeholders. For example, parents might have something to say, students themselves, or maybe principals. Of course, these stakeholders will have something to add and make the study maybe more relevant and more valuable. But again, we couldn't take this because of the limitations of this study. It's the limited budget. We did not have time for that. We did not have the access for these kind of participant group as well. So here are two limitations. Can I think about anything else? Of course, there's there could be a long list for for issues to limit your study. Okay, now I'll introduce one major limitation actually, and it's really timely. And I want to jump with this limitation to the challenges. Okay. Another major challenge to the study, sorry, not the major limitation, to the study is access to research sites. This study is conducted, sorry, was conducted during the COVID-19 pandemic and during the winter 2020 schools in California had to close down and start the digital or the distant start teaching from distance. This made access to the school sites and the classroom observed limited. The COVID-19 has also presented a number of challenges for the researcher since access to university and meeting with project advisors and mentors, very limited, and supervision had to be performed from distance. Another challenge for the study was gaining access to the study site, since the study had to be performed, to be conducted at a school with minors. A number of issues and approvals had to be, since the study had to be conducted at a school with minors being involved, with minors, a number of issues and approvals had to be number of issues had to be considered. Regime approval, school approval for research and recruiting of disciplines. Now maybe I can say like a final statement about the like what we say is like the way forward. It's like, okay, your study has some limitations, there are some challenges. After this study, what do you recommend that to be done? Like, do you recommend another study? And how is the study going to look like? So I will say here, um, with these, with the limitations and challenges discussed, a new further study on the topic could include a larger sample and hence the results would be more generalized. So this is one idea, that I can have a larger sample. Another possible study is to compare the results from the American context to another one, Asian, like, you know, this study I was taking Oman as an example. It's a country in the Gulf, Middle East. So I'll say Oman. In this case, you can compare what you found here with what's going on in Oman or in any other country that you choose. And I think that's it. That's it. Let me quickly review the statements that I wrote earlier and see if there's something I want to add here or there. You don't really need sophisticated materials to get serious attention. Oh, that's actually an interesting statement. Maybe I can add it here somewhere. The results will also showed that teachers do not need sophisticated material in order to improve students' attention. This means a well-trained teacher can maintain students' attention with very basic material. All right, so that was very helpful. Again, when did I write this statement? I wrote this statement actually during the period that I was writing the discussion above. Attention and engagement can together. If a teacher plans to get better attention, he is advised to think of activities and practice that engage the students. Okay, I'll take it as it is. Cut, and I'll paste it somewhere, maybe here. In addition, attention and engagement come together. If a teacher, that means it's not like to come together. They support each other. In this respect. Okay. Anything interesting as well here? Teacher performance is key. Collaboration is the hub nowadays and implies more effective. Okay, another very interesting statement. I'll take it. The discussion above highlights the point or the fact that grabbing or maintaining is harder than ever. And this implies more effort is required from the teacher in order to overcome such challenge. Of course, here the font is changing. I'll keep it the same, which is Times New Roman. Here, okay, I already talked about this. Policies, I talked about this. Teacher roles is evident in the context. Is here in changing context. I'm making it more effective. Okay, I think I already talked about something similar, so there's no need. Recommendations offer. I offered recommendations, challenges, and limitations. I already talked about that. So I think I'm done now. Yeah, I'm done. So of course, everything you read, you need to review and see if there's maybe a grammar mistake, a spelling mistake here or there. But this is let me say this is my first draft. let me see how many words we got. We got almost 900 words, which is, I believe, a good number of words for a conclusion for a research of this size. All right, I'll stop now, and if you have any question or you need any support, please you can write a comment below. Thank you.